So question 14 part B, hence or otherwise sketch the graph with the equation y equals root 3 sine x minus cos. It's the same one as before. Okay, so often for these ones, you're going to be wanting to use your answer from A to help you solve your answer for B. Okay, so if we write out our final answer from A, which was 2 sine x minus 30. Okay, so what does this mean? Okay, so what's changed in this graph? So if you've got a normal sine graph, it's going to look something like this. Okay, where that's 1, that's -1, that's 180, that's 360, 90, and 270. So it's a bit of a rough graph. Okay, so what's happened to our sine graph now that it looks like this? Well, basically what's happened is this 2 at the front means everything's been multiplied by 2. So instead of going to 1, it's going to go to 2. Instead of going to -1, it's going to go all the way down to -2. So this is going to, I'll do like a very rough sketch. So this is now going to come something like this, up to 2, down to 2. Oh, sorry, that's not correct. It'll go up to 2 there, then it'll go down to 2, then it'll come up again. It's going to look a bit like that. Okay, well what's happened now, it's going to be shifted along, well this -30, well the minus sign means it's going to be moved to the right. So what's this going to look like now? Well again, this is very rough. It's going to move to about 30s, but it's going to go up there, down there, and along there. But what the question is asking us is to draw a graph in the booklet with the diagram provided, and they'll be looking for specific numbers and proving that we've got what's going on. Okay, so this is what we've got here. Okay, so first of all, start with the easier ones. So if it's been shifted along 30, instead of starting at 0, it's going to start, it's going to cross the x-axis at 30. And instead of having its minimum at 180, it's actually going to cross back, not the minimum even, it's going to cross back across at 210, like there. And then instead of having its, okay, so those are the two roots. So now we think about where the maximum and the minimum. Well, the maximum usually occurred at 90, but now the maximum is going to occur somewhere at 120, because that's 30 along from 90. And then the same thing, instead of having the minimum at 270, we're going to have the minimum at 300. It's going to be along here at some point. Okay, and because of the 2, we know that the amplitude is going to be, the highest point is going to be 2, and then the same for the negative. The highest or the lowest point is going to be at -2. Okay. And then the one last thing we need to think about is the y-intercept. Okay, so where's that going to happen? So when it cuts the y-axis, so cuts y at, or when, it's like when, and x equals 0. So y, y equals 2 sine 0 minus 30. Okay, so this equals 2 sine -30. Well, we know that sine 30 is a half, so -30 is going to be minus a half, so 2 times -1/2, which is equal to -1. So y-intercept is at 0, -1. Let's mark that one there, so 0, so here. So now we can start to sketch in our graph now that we've got our points. So it's going to go through here, up to 30, all the way up to 120. Then it's going to start to come down to here, to 210. Then we're going to pass through the x-axis all the way down to 360, and then it's going to start to make its way up again, but that's beyond the graph, so you don't actually need to put in where it's going to cut the x, because they're only asking between 0 and 360, so beyond that they're not interested. So we can put in, just to be extra clear, we'll put in the coordinates. So that's 120, 2, This is 300 minus 2. This is 0 minus 1. That is 30, 0. And this is 210, 0. So to get all the marks, you need to have the roots identifiable, which we have here and here, and then you need to have the coordinates of both turning points, which we have there, and then for your last mark, or well yeah, those are roots worth 1 mark, maximum turning points worth 1 mark, and then your final mark is for the y-intercept over there. So there's your 3 marks. 3. Okay, that's it.